Ladies and gentlemen, Part 1 Introduction. I first experienced when I found myself in different fields like DevOps, trading, web programming with some languages. After that, I chose blockchain and Rust programming as a new roadmap for a good company in most of the time. I knew I had flexible enough to put my mind over a new technology with a little bit deviation. That past knowledge and those areas has helped me to learn everything by myself. I'm gonna speak about settlement layer with Rust and Substrate framework. I'm gonna cover any boring theory in the middle of presentation, as well as showing a stage of the pilot project with you. Furthermore, reaching a cross match between nodes, how we can make a blockchain based on Substrate framework. So before we speak about it, let me turn to the Rust programming. I published some packages about learning Rust programming. And as you can see in this platform, you can have access to some part of Rust programming, and there is a roadmap with some parts. For example, I spoke about broad checkers and unsafe programming, raw pointers, reference in part 2, and in part 1, I taught monomorphization, polymorphic programming, and also conditional compilation, a variety of tests, for example, pretty or unit testing. In addition, feature integration or prop test. And I also recently, I've done part 3, and it's about traits and smart pointers. Who are speaking English, you can have gain access to my repository, Rust All-in-One, Arnold Riazi, and then you can find some materials and in different sections. As you can see, there are topics of in variety of or perspective about Rust programming. The other repository is called Awesome Rust, and you can check it out. As you can see, there is a bundle of repositories, and you can have access to updated information. For example, you can visit Rust Scratch blockchain. In Rust Scratch blockchain, you can have a Rust standard library, and to make a simulation of proof of work consensus algorithm in blockchain, and you can write a code with Rust programming. And I also publish 2-part as a kind of video, and you can check it out. But maybe someone asked me what's the difference between your repository with another simulated blockchain with Rust. I describe it here in README, and you can have a study on the document. For example, I use RC smart pointer instead of copy trait. And for the improvement of copy semantic, I use RC smart pointer in comparison with copy trait. As I pointed out, whether you can choose suitable smart pointer or not depends on many factors, one of which is how much performance is important than complexity or control of the code. It has its idiosyncrasies that the other smart pointers. A reason for choosing RC is using pointers instead of data. Let me tell you what that means. For example, we could have called a.clone rather than rc pass clone, but Rust convention is to use rc pass clone in this case. The implementation of rc clone doesn't make a deep copy of all the data like most types implementations of clone. As they do. The call to RC clone only increments the reference count, which doesn't take much time. Therefore, deep copies of data can take a lot of time. That will all make much more sense after you've done with the whole of this concept, like lazy evaluation, memorization, coercion, and There are so many concepts in Rust programming, and I a little bit explain it here. Obviously, nobody can say I know Rust programming in different areas. For example, parallel programming, or object-oriented, or maybe system programming. It really has extended areas. You must decide to which section you want to work proactively. Let me turn to Substrate framework, and you only need to familiar with functional programming, object-oriented, and macros in case you want to switch Substrate framework. What Substrate does is to make blockchain or a settlement layer for you, and I made for myself a mind map for using Substrate, and as you can see, it's got so many components and modules, and you must have enough study to know how to handle in programming by writing code. I think Substrate is based on two main pillars. It's about runtime or execution environment, executive palette, or modules, and as you can see here is about orchestration of calls into palettes from the runtime. And at the end, occasionally you might need to use frame system modules, and to know how to use different frame system modules in your customized palette. Let's delve deeper into Substrate framework, and I want to speak about how you can configure your nodes, and to passing data between nodes in your local network. And you can follow this documentation, and after that you can put in some codes. For example, I've written some palettes about registering user or a sample template, and also I manipulated my runtime to specify my palette. For running nodes, you'd better have enough resource, hardware resource, and it's really occupy CPUs, memories, and network. So I decided to rent a service of cloud, and to provide this video for you, and I configured my local test network, and when I put in this line, you can see I have some save key store, for example for node 1 or node 2. As we're going to set up a local network with our consensus algorithm, we needed to generate some keys, and Substrate, like any networks like Solana or Avalanche, there is a key standard, and it's famous, for example SR25519 or ED25519. It's about signatures algorithm, and also a hash function, for example SHA-512. So you need to know how you can generate your keys for your settlement layer, for your network, before you enter a scope of a smart contract, or writing palettes, or upgrade runtime modules. Okay, so to have PKI or public key infrastructure is one of our requirements. And let me take a look at consensus algorithm, and we're gonna to use grandpa and babe. Maybe it's unfamiliar for some of you, but I definitely know you are familiar with proof of stake and proof of work. POS is designed to address some of the limitations of proof of work. In general, the babe and grandpa consensus mechanism can ensure that the network is fast, continuous, not easy to roll back, and traceable. Grandpa validators vote on chains, but not blocks. Okay. The grandpa is said to be implemented by different languages or frameworks or networks, and it's not about only Substrate or Polkadot. Grandpa validators vote on a block that they consider best, and their votes are applied transitively to all previous blocks. After two-thirds of the grandpa authorities have voted for a particular block, it's considered final. So we use a grandpa mechanism for finalizing blocks, and also we use Aura to produce block, and both of them depends on to each other. And, as you can see, I can run a command for node 1. This command is to run node 1, and because I use Substrate node template, I need to specify every flags and to fill out some parameters. After I ran node 1, in the panel of node 2 will appear logs of node 1, and for example, as you can see, there is synchronized data between node 1 and node 2. Finalize 7AE, and as you can see, 7AE is in the peer node 2. After that, you run both of your nodes to make a local network. You need to specify a JSON file, custom spec, and you must enter your keys for grandpa here, and also for section of Aura, you must enter your keys based on SR 25519, and after that you can mention some keys for ED 25519, or even you can change default balance for set up accounts.